Hello, my name is Michael, and this is my computer science project for the internal assessment of the IBO. Now, there are plenty of classes here, but I'm going to close them all for now. Leave us with this, and I'm going to click play. Now, when we click play for my project, the first thing that's going to happen, is a JOption pane.show message dialog is going to come up, and it's just going to give us a simple overview of what we're to expect. So it tells us the name of the program, it tells us what to expect in the game, and it just says good luck. We click OK, and that'll bring us to the name question. So we give ourselves a name and click OK. Now this is normally where I have the name, but I haven't actually moved the Y coordinate, so it's obviously overlapping with the health, but that's alright for the sake of this video. Also for the sake of this video, I have fights disabled, simply because there seems to be some form of glitch, and I'm not sure exactly what it is yet, but I'm in the process of debugging it, but I thought I should make the video now, just so I don't forget. And I also made the end, but it's not fully coded, so even if we walk all the way there, it's not going to do anything other than say, well, you're there. Now, the purpose of the shop is so that if you get into a fight, you can, you'll then have the ability to buy different items, so that if you have a certain amount of gold, you can buy different item sets. So the Arid set, the Tragic set, the Truth set, or Veritas set, all the way up to the Immortality set. Now, this would be more detailed if I had more time, because the complexity of what it is right now is fairly high. Just creating this whole grid the way it is took a while. In fact, my two JProgress bars are currently having glitchy issues, which will be debugged eventually, but at the current they are not working. So, going into my code, I'm gonna collapse this all. There are plenty of classes and imports. So first off, let's talk about my imports. Now, the imports were interesting simply because there are so many of them to be used. All of this was used in different sections: color for the map, action event, action listener, and timer, all for, well, essentially the timer. That's just to make sure that the UI is constantly updated. JPanel is to separate the two. JFrame, obviously required for the GUI. Border Factory, also for the map, to identify where the squares are. And JProgress bar, as you saw, was mostly for health and experience. Now, one of the things that I had to do was create a combat mechanic, which is, although currently buggy right now, I did create a combat mechanic. And this combat mechanic was really just designed to be extremely advanced at first, but as time went on, I decided that it was getting too advanced. So what ended up happening was, during the course of coding this, I actually ended up making it very simple. Instead of making the AI a full AI, as you can see, I just have it so that it's just a simple random. Nothing too intriguing, nothing too interesting. Just a simple random. Whoops. And this random would then pick what attack the enemy would use, but in its current state I wanted it to be even simpler, so I made it so that it'd be the player's health minus whatever the enemy's strength is multiplied by 1.1. A simple method, or a simple algo. So we're gonna go to turn of player. Now this is where it gets a little more complicated. This is where the complexity enters in with the combat system. I needed it so that different levels would give different skills. So right now there are multiple levels, starting from level 0. Now, as you can see, I have multiple variables here, starting from if the player's level 0 or level 1, all the way up to level 5, and the skills will change. And I made it so that there's an else statement that if there is an error, then I'll know exactly where it is. Now here is the pop-up menu, which is just a simple JOption pane.show input dialog. Very quick to code, very simple to use. And the attacks do work, but only if there exists something there, for the most part. I haven't really made another conditional here yet. I was in the process of doing that as well. So that's the fight. Oops, again, mistyping everything. Now we can move on to our global constant class. Very simple. It's literally just the title. I'm gonna switch back to my other screen, other view. There we go. It's just the title, and that's really it. We move over to our enemy and player class. Now these variables used to be in the exact same class. They used to be in the fight class, but they were separated for the sake of organization. For example, I had it so that player name, health, and max health were all in one class, all in the fight class, instead of having them separated from the enemy, which makes it a lot more difficult. So I separated the two, and player has check of level increase. Very simple. One of the most important things about this is that I didn't have enough time to make it as complex as I was hoping to make it. So normally the fight sequence would work, and what's supposed to happen is the player will be moved either to the right of its fight path or down. And the reason for this is because I have it set so that it'll constantly check where the player is standing. So if the player is standing on fight when the fight sequence starts, it'll just loop back over into fight. The player will not move. So that has to be debugged. That's what I'm in the process of debugging. And that's my final, nice. That's my computer science internal assessment IB final project. Yeah. All right. Bye.